For Vox Machina.
That took us 4 takes. Welcome to NPCs.
It's probably the most takes we've ever done for a bit.
Probably, yeah. Welcome to episode recap. What's going on? Welcome to NPCs of Tal'Dorei, reviewing episode 115, the final battle. The chapter closes.
The final battle?
The final episode.
The
chapter closes.
What are they're battling each other?
Yeah. Sorry, I've just finished rewatching the episode for the second time. I think it's the only episode I've actually watched twice.
I've watched about 3 times now.
Yeah, but obviously it's the most important, arguably one of the most important, or one of the most, arguably the most important.
And you see we're kind of upbeat at the moment, mainly because we're trying
very hard
to say kind of like, yeah, what they're going to talk about, and also story, but to be honest though, the closing epilogue, this whole episode, was probably a very fitting and, for my vision, a perfect end.
Yeah.
To how it wasn't a everyone lived happy ever after kind of ending. It was a really kind of somber win, but we lost at the same time kind of ending. And I love this kind of ending.
It was the last thing that I have, I think, in my notes is just possibly the most beautiful Vox Machina story ever. Matt really brought his A game with that last bit with Keyleth. And
but until we get there, I guess we'll do a
recap of the episode. So we start with they're in the tower right after defeating Vecna. Not too much of time has passed when we jump back in. However, because Vecna had kind of like a hole, like these green tendrils holding the tower together, they fade and the whole thing starts falling apart.
Yeah, but it doesn't fall apart like as quickly like Lord of the Rings kind of tower collapsing. No. It kind of it's gradually kind of crumbling, you could say, and the big titan stops in place, more solidly. And so Vox Machina is kind of like getting the bearings of having this. Are you going to do that the whole time?
Yeah.
Really, good luck. Vox Machina is having that moment of kind of realizing what they've done and kind of like having that moment, and then bang, we get back into the repercussions of it and trying to figure out what's happened with everyone. Yeah,
so they do.
I know that well. Were you just waiting for me to finish the sentence?
Yeah.
Because I would have gone on for a while if I knew that.
So they quickly go, right, place is falling apart. What do? Grog has the carpet and the bag of colding, or the bag of holding, as it's actually known. And some of them can use fly, so they kind of figure that out.
Yeah, but the first step is they find their 2 friends that fell in battle.
Kishore and Zara.
There we go. And they basically just try and figure out what happened with them. Are they okay? While Vex actually looks after her sister, because that still happened.
Yeah.
So the other members of Vox Machina fly down and find them unconscious. And bring them basically back to life. Back to life.
Well, they did have Death Ward cast on them, I do believe, so they were able to, when they hit 0, come back to 1 hit point, still unconscious.
So technically they would have died.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they had Death Ward.
Death Ward, hell yeah, Death Ward. So, Kishore and Zara get revived and brought back, and that's when they actually appear out of the wings. And I don't think any of the players actually knew that they were there waiting.
No,
to
just
come
like
back
the last
to
episode.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I love
that. And I mean, the risk of Matt actually doing that in secret is the fact that he may never get the moment to actually introduce the guest. Which I think it's happened a couple of times where they've had a guest, but it's taken so long for them to pop in. They pop in only really briefly at the end. That's happened a couple of times, but I really love the surprise.
Yeah. It's just nice for the ending close to have some of these NPCs, and as you'll see throughout this episode, of course, Matt ties in some of the stories from the entire campaign, and
That's
some of them, most notable.
I think
characters.
One thing that was confirmed is Zara's pregnant.
Yeah. So they actually do say, the baby is alright, which is like, okay, because last episode they did hint at that.
Mainly because they didn't have an opportunity to say anything, and then once they got frozen, fell, they kind of say, "Oh, the baby." It's like, baby.
Yeah, and it's actually mentioned to Vax and Vex that twins run in their family. Twins run in Zara's family, and there's a little moment there.
So once they come back to life, the next mission is to actually revive Vax's sister,
Alora. Yeah. Grog. I've got quite a clever pun. Grog hangs in the balance. Because he's holding on to the immovable rope and he's hanging from the...
We're talking about a dead child bringing back to life, and you're talking about puns?
So, we go to Laura to bring her back. Now, this is a time where it's difficult because, overcoming death is not an easy thing in D&D or anywhere else. And essentially they decide to use Revivify, which is a spell that Kishore had and I think Keyleth had as well. However, the body had been dead for more than a minute, so that spell was unable to be used.
Yes, so we use,
Raise dead.
Raise dead, that's it. Which I thought raise dead only meant you could raise an undead, but it turns out raise dead you actually could just bring back someone to life.
Yep. However, it's not just an easy cast of spell. It's a ritual cast type thing. And
For an hour, I think it was.
Yep. So an hour.
It means the tower stayed up.
Yeah, somehow. However, they do have to. This is reminiscent of just possible spoiler for previous episodes. Just note. Reminiscent of when Scanlan was had the same ritual cast upon him, in terms of the players gave offerings to aid the ritual.
Yeah. And I think Vix offered the feather
of the owlbear because she knew that her sister Laura loved owlbears.
And she didn't roll very high on that. So
no, she rolled a 4.
Yeah.
Which was weird because when she looked at her dice, I went, oh my god, she rolled a 4, and then she went, and I was like, hey, I got it right. Then Vax takes off Simon, the snake belt, and puts it around Alora.
Which is a good kind of like goodbye to Simon, to be honest. Yeah. I like that.
And I just got in brackets, breaks my heart. He rolls an 18, but still uses luck to re-roll.
And
goes with the 18.
But yeah, ultimately it works. And
Laura lives once more.
Yeah, I think it would have been really dark if she didn't come back.
Yeah.
But I think it was a nice, sort of sweet ending. Yeah. Especially what we're about to go through later in the episode. So it was really well done.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Then there's some cool little interplay role-playing moments between the characters. Kishore says, and that is why we're going to name our child Vax. Just kidding. Which I felt was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was a nice kind of showing like how much the Vox Machina and Critical Role cast love the guests.
Yeah.
They're not just random people they got off the street and pulled in and sit down. They're actually their friends. I mean, I think I remember hearing somewhere that Mary, the one that plays Zara, she actually married Laura and Travis. Wow,
I didn't know that. Dropping knowledge.
I think I saw that on Q&A they did.
Fantastic.
At a recent con.
I need to watch more Q&As. That's exciting news. Then as Kishore and Zara essentially give their goodbyes, Zara kisses Scanlan with a fiery kiss, which I thought
with the tail around the
thing. Kind of kinky, but it's fine. Yeah. They head off and horns begin to sound in the city of Vasselheim.
And there's also guns in the air where Scanlan reveals the gun.
Yes, the gun from a long time ago.
A huge callback on that one. Like
wonderful. So they essentially, someone throw purple light into the sky, Scanlan shoots his gun, and Keyleth writes, Vecna defeated in skywriting.
And Scanlan's gun is that little point.
And Scan rolls to see, because gunslinger rules, that kind of stuff. You've got a jam on like a 1 or 2, he rolls, nat 20. Just goes.
That's very poignant when these nat 20s happen during this particular game. So it's great.
Then Grog mentions that he wants Archon's hand, the one that he cut off and replaced with the hand of Vecna.
Yes.
So they go trying to find that.
Yeah, because he's a little bit kind of, that's still unresolved. That is a particular plot point that's unresolved. And spoiler it, but if you're watching the review, you already know, it doesn't really get resolved. So that could be something that comes up in the future campaign.
That could be very much a spring point or some kind of tie-in. I'm sure there'll be at least a reference to it in the new campaign. He helped us, then he fucked us, is just a quote that I had written down. Cool, yes, sweet. And then someone goes, I think it was Vex goes, what? What happened to Silas? And the party goes, oh yeah, Silas,
the little vampire
who got away in mist form.
And there was a lot of Feld attempting at screwing at him until finally, which makes sense to them, just use all the spells because they're not gonna.
Yeah, why not?
Just use it all, and then we find out that he's flying away in the woods.
Yeah.
Now, interesting note on this. While I was doing my research, Silas Briarwood is from the new region where the new campaigns takes place.
Ooh, exciting!
So we could see Silas again in the future campaign because they're actually initially from where the new campaign is, which we're going to have a discussion video on. So I don't want to drop what it is yet, but just keep that in mind.
And watch out for more content here on NPCs at Tal'Dorei. So then, basically, Keyleth scries twice and it fails with rolling against. Vex uses locate pants, as they call it, to use locate object on the pants that Briarwood was wearing. They, say that maybe he took off the pants because he knew it was going to be scried upon, and he's just, what was the shirt cocking? There's a very weird little moment there.
Yeah.
Past it.
I was just like, how long are we going to talk about bands for?
And then Jaman Sa'ud, or Devosa, returns.
He apologised for not doing a lot of work, but to be honest, he couldn't really do much. You're stuck in a box.
Yeah, exactly. It's not your fault. I think Devosa is a he. But
Well, the artwork,
correct me on that.
she's a female, so
Okay.
maybe it's one of those non-binary kind of situations.
We don't know, but if you do know, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Because then we know.
There you go.
Yeah, so they go, beautiful, actually the scene when Matt sets, when they're flying on the dragon, and just like coasting around these mountains and stuff, I thought that was beautiful, so it was really well.
He
Really
describes scenery very well, and I'm going to do something you always do in the ring.
Cool. Yeah, so essentially I am, he means during the video, not just like in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the things we get here is some of Matt's beautiful storytelling, which was expected.
So we fly down the Vasselheim, still kind of the aftermath battle, kind of the skeletons, dead people, pretty much it was a mess at the moment, and they go directly to the Sanctuary.
Platinum Sanctuary, yeah.
Yeah, Platinum Sanctuary, where they see Alora? Alora, what's her last name? Alora, she'll be in the little photo. Put it right there. And High Bearer Zord, or Vord? Yeah. Bad
we've
with
got
names, sorry.
Keela steps forward to deliver a speech, which she actually does. She gets put on the spot a little bit, but delivers quite
Really good.
an inspiring.
The last speech of Keyleth, I called it.
Yeah, I'd say that is true. It is the last speech of Keela. I've just got written beautiful moments.
Very good. I think the whole kind of wrap of it, I think that the crew really came prepared and knew what they needed to bring to it, and it was amazing. That was a really cool speech. But then we hit a very somber moment.
Yeah.
The Raven Queen arrives.
And Vax feels a cold feeling just in his heart, and then again, and she appears.
Now Percy steps forward and tries to kind of negotiate or kind of like
Plead
or try and start a dialogue between him and the Raven Queen. And someone that commented on our last video, so thanks for that. If you have a comment, put it down below. Says, I'll read it out, but you'll see it pop up here. Vox Machina decides to sacrifice themselves for Vex. This is his theory.
A theory, yeah.
And this is from Richard Clark. So Vox Machina decides to sacrifice themselves for Vex. Therefore, the Raven Queen, moved by the sacrifice and a little bit frustrated that she cannot keep his champion without dorks behind him, she decides not to do it and leaves Vex alone.
So that was a fan theory that we had on one of our videos.
Yeah, on last week's one.
Yeah.
And in a way, that kind of what happened, what Percy tried to kind of attempt to do. And I think if they got some momentum there, if the Raven Queen kind of was going, all right, here you are, Percy, I think the rest of the team would have got involved.
Yeah.
But because it was dismissed so easily by the Raven Queen, because the Raven Queen kind of just walked away from him.
Cast actually makes a wisdom save for Percy. Percy fails. Obviously, it's against a god's DC, so that's impossibly hard. But Percy gets locked in place.
And I feel like if the rest of Machina did it at that point, the same result would have happened. So it was a good theory, but I don't think there was any swaying the Raven Queen in this one.
Yeah. Vex and Keyleth do both plead. Vex says something along the lines of, "You've got eternity, you've got infinity. What is a few more years to leave Vex with us?"
And the Raven Queen doesn't see it in that kind of like with God's time is a very kind of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey kind of thing, and time doesn't really matter to her.
Stop crossing into other fandoms. Anyway,
I'm wearing a Deadpool thing.
Catch them all. So basically, the speech itself that Vax gives before he goes is one of the most poignant, beautiful Vox Machina moments. I highly recommend just watching it, because it is. I was in tears, and it's powerful as hell.
There's no way we could do it justice on air.
No,
I'd say
no chance.
Go watch it for yourself, and it really shows how much these characters mean to them. And it means to us. I mean, it means to us a lot as a viewer, but for them, it's a whole different story.
They've said multiple times they are family, and they mean that. Beautiful moments. Druidcraft. That broke my heart.
Now that's something to note as well. So, Liam mentions because Vax leveled up, he actually leveled as a druid.
Yeah, so he multi-classed a little bit for
3 times now. So he's a rogue, paladin, and now a druid.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet kind of tie-in with the Keela storyline as well. And it was just really kind of on point, very unexpected. I didn't expect him to multi-class like that, but that was.
So essentially, the moment as he leaves, he druid crafts snowdrops, this white flower, and it's gone in feathers. And amazing storytelling, amazing moment. However, this is the time when I think it was for me, it was for them, too intense. People are crying, so that's where we go to break, and I think that's because...
I don't think it was expected to go to the break as well.
No.
I think they kind of had to.
Yeah.
Even Matt was in tears.
Yeah.
I mean, when the DM can't go on, you know the show's kind of need to take a bit of a step back. So it was a really good moment. Recommend go watch it. Yeah. Obviously, if you're watching this recap, you probably already have, but take another look.
Now, this is the point where I am literally, because the time this went live, I was actually at work. Now, I work in a place that does like D&D supplies and stuff, so I'm surrounded by this and, unable to not think about it. But I had to work until the middle, so I'm running home at this point, and I burst through the door and jump on Twitch, and that's where I actually started this episode when I watched it for the first time.
And when it came back, Liam was gone.
Liam, not sitting there anymore, which was cool. I thought that was actually added a nice, quite beautiful element.
It kind of sealed the fact of you're not going to be seeing him again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of adds some finality to it.
Yeah.
So
I thought
see that word without screwing it up.
Nice. I thought if he had been sitting there, it kind of would have broke the illusion a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was actually quite a cool decision.
And especially if there could be many people like you who just came in and they just saw Liam sit there the entire time. You're like, what the hell happened? Isn't nothing going to happen? So,
so that was beautiful. So the first thing that happens that I wrote down after the break is just they're talking about Vax, obviously, and then Killer says he taught me how to love, and I was just like, oh my god, that was such a good line.
But the next kind of plot line that we go on is Kaz. Dealing with Kaz, and Grog decides to get rid of Kaz.
Or Craven Edge 2.0.
Craven Edge 2.0, and he has a bit of trouble with it. Because the sword talks to him and kind of chains him, but luckily Pike and Scanlan were there to kind of steer the ship a little bit.
Yeah, Pike uses just straight strength to grab Grog. Grog obviously fails his wisdom save. After pulling the card, I think his intelligence is 6, so it's minus 2, which is ridiculous. So he fails wisdom save. Pike helps him out. Then Scanlan tries suggestion to figure this out. Yep, that doesn't work, so Pike tries greater restoration. Rolls a 4, while Matt rolls an 8, so that was both very low contestants. But eventually they hand over, and they give the vital information about what Kaz is. So Kaz's main purpose is to destroy Vecna, and also about Archine. So he hands over the hand of Archine as well, and says this person's got it, and you should go deal with that. Yeah. But that's where that particular story lands now. And then we've got Percy talking to Ipkiss, his sword. And he just says, "Would the thing you gave me bring him back?" Still, obviously
the contract.
The contract.
The contract.
So more beautiful moments.
He basically the contract basically means he kind of gets a wish, but he signs his life away kind of idea. Yeah. Whether the contract has that much power, it's not really specified. Yeah. But pretty much that's what that was about. He was staring at a sword and kind of feeling for the contract, and luckily Vex comes in and kind of makes sure that doesn't happen, and then he eventually hands over the contract to Pike for safekeeping because he doesn't not really trust himself. He's like, I don't need it, just put it away from him.
Yes. Then I do believe they travel to the Platinum Sanctuary for the
We're already at the Platinum Sanctuary. We'll go to Sarenrae's temple, I think, next.
That's what I have.
We'll go to Sarenrae's temple to kind of see how that is and see it, because Pike did build it. That was a huge thing. And basically they after that kind of go to the pub. Yeah,
they go to a tavern, they buy drinks for everyone. It's a tavern called the Quarry's End, which was a nice little kind of moment, nice little story there. Nice little name is the word I was looking for and could not find. Grog pulls 8 expensive bottles of wine from the bag of holding.
And they Percy gives them a hell of a lot of money to the bartender to just give them the terrible beer, just the way Vox Machina. And also Kima arrives.
And Elora is there drinking as well. Elora, the sister of Vax and Vex, kind of has her first drink, which is kind of cool. They give her orange juice or something, and then she's kind of puckered out by this point as well. So. But Kima comes.
Kima arrives. If you're a big fan of Critical Role, you know Kima. Picture here. It's kind of.
I'm not editing this one, so I'm happy when he does that.
So it's a very somber moment for Vox Machina of them saying goodbye to Vax. This is their kind of salute to Vax.
Yeah, and that's why we did our salute at the beginning of this episode.
To all the Vox Machina.
Kiki scries on Cassandra, who is Percy's sister. Yeah. Not too much happens there. No. We know a bit more about Cassandra in the big wrap-up. I did have a mention that not only did we raise our glasses at the beginning of this episode, not only did Vox Machina raise their glasses, I was there watching the chat. Everyone in chat pretty much raised their glasses to Vax'ildan, which was just wonderful.
It was really good. It was a really good
I honestly felt like this episode, we were part of something. We were part of something massive.
We still
to be
are.
able to be there.
We still are.
And we still are, absolutely.
And yeah, I think that's not saying to lose. This isn't the end.
No.
This is just the the first movie ending, and then we're getting ready for the next one.
Yeah. I'm just so proud to be part of the critic community. You guys are awesome. That's why we do this, because we just want to hang out with you via the digital world. Then, oh yes!
Dick of anything?
I knew that, yeah, exactly. I knew
My
this was coming.
thing.
I knew, because it's the last episode, this had to have happened. Grog pulls out the deck of many things. And there's a whole lot of, and whoa, and the chat goes, yes!
And I liked it how the players were, it wasn't just Travis wanting to pull it. They were like, yeah,
let's figure
but they were still kind of like, this could screw up everything.
And this is hilarious because Pike goes for it. Pike is like, yeah, let's do it. Which is awesome. And then he goes to pull one out and puts it back. Which is just funny.
But
it comes
that's
back
not
out.
over.
No, it's not over.
But then they decide to drunkly go to Whitestone. While they're going through the streets all drunk, people are celebrating, cheering them, but if you've ever been a drunk person, the last thing you want to do is deal with sober people.
We both speak from experience.
But yeah, they go to Whitestone. And
my heart breaks again as Scanlan talks to Kiwi.
Yeah, that was a really poignant, lovely moment.
It's just a wonderful episode.
And they do come to the conclusion of handing over the meat man. Still going to have a chip in that little kind of organisation, but then they decide to kind of hand it over and actually be a family. And Kaylee goes to school.
Yeah.
Education.
Yeah. In fact, has like quite a lot of money, so kind of it does quite well. Vex lends trinket to Keyleth because Keyleth is in a room crying. Again, there's only so much my heart can take, Vox Machina.
Percy and Vex go off to the woods. It's kind of Vex's way of dealing with the loss of Vax. If you watch the Origin comic books, you know that's how they started together. And they're not going to end the story together. So it's best that she ends up with someone that she loves. Personally.
Also, the next episode of Vox Machina Origins, the comic, which we're both waiting for, comes out very soon. In the next day, I think. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean...
it depends on when this video goes up.
Well, yeah, it goes out, this video goes out tonight. Yeah. So, yeah, it will basically come out when this video goes out.
Yeah, so if you're watching this, jump over to Dark Horse or, and
wherever you go.
Yeah. So, Grog's... Oh, yeah, this is when the cards come back out.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Pike deals with Golrick, which is a wolf. She goes to the woods and finds the wolf, and that wolf actually belonged to Perval Soul. Yeah. But basically an old follower of the Raven Queen, and it was kind of like now that wolf was a symbol saying that now that particular person has also fulfilled the promise they made with the Raven Queen, and it was kind of like a very nice little throwback with that wolf. But yes, now
then Grog pulls out the deck again because why not? He wanders off from the party and pulls a card, and he gets it's hilarious because how many cards are left? Like most of them, right?
Yeah, most.
And yet he managed to pull the void card.
Yeah.
So
apparently it's the worst. According to Laura, it's the worst one you can pull.
Yeah, and he gets it straight off the bat. His soul gets sucked from his body, soulscaped, or the chamber in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it just destroys him and gets pulled out of him and gets, bound in the Hall of Pandemonium. Yeah. And Grog's body just paralyzes. And he's able to... With the deck.
I like it how Travis narrows it. Like the deck is just like...
Yeah,
so
which is marvelous.
I love this bit of storytelling that, because of how Matt says it, because of how high powered they are, this is not going to be a huge challenge for them. So we're just going to skip 2 weeks of this huge adventure, which they tease that it's going to be a one shot. Yeah, and I really want it to be a one shot. But basically, it jumps forward 2 weeks later.
He's back, and
then Grog's just kind of go, "Hey, what happens? I was outside." And everyone's just like, "You idiots!"
Also, the void card means you can't pull any more. I do believe it says you draw no more cards.
Yeah, but they don't. They kind of say we've taken the deck away from you because I don't think the deck has gone.
Right.
I think it's just take.
Other people can still draw. I just think it means that Grog's not able to draw anymore. You draw no more cards is one of the things that's written on.
Yeah. So you can know. It's a nice little ending for that though.
Yeah. That was a fitting. That was
really fitting, and it was
just remember, guys out there in the D&D world, the deck of many things is not to be messed around with, especially the one from Pathfinder.
So we're going to start doing the roundup of what happens over the next 5-10 years. One thing to note though, Matt only said up to 10 years.
Yeah.
and which is funny because the next campaign takes place 20 years later. So there could be these characters seeing them again, or their influence on the world is not yet finished. So just keep that in mind.
There's also that nice little buffer zone of unknown between the end of this campaign and the beginning of the next one.
So we start with Scanlan.
Yes, we do. Scanlan gives his money to Kaylee, which is his whole thing. Him and Pike, I think, is the whole thing they do.
Which they start dating.
Yes.
It's worth noting that.
Yeah, in fact, after Terry, who comes up to Scanlan, Pike, and I'll mention that in a sec. Scanlan gives all his money to Kaylee, essentially pays for her to go to school and learn things and do the stuff that Scanlan, I think, was not able to. He also reveals that he's 69. Well, he started when he was 69.
Yeah, and he was 70 by the end of the campaign.
And they're like, you were that, like, they always thought he was older than that.
Yeah, I think it's because when someone's mysterious about their age, you automatically assume they're a lot older than they say.
Yeah, but Scanlan's actually considerably young for a gnome. And of course he starts his journey at 69, of course. It's Scanlan, of course.
Also, when he talks about sending the money to Kaylee, he also sends some money anonymously to Sybil, which is Kaylee's mother.
Well, he sends her some diamond necklaces.
Yeah, which she'll probably sell. That was what the intention was. It was very, very expensive necklaces, which is lovely. All he wants is just to help Kaylee, I thought it was so. And while this time, Ashley is disconnecting.
Oh, yeah.
The perfect time disconnects that happen. That's really
when Grog pulls the card, Pike goes, no! And then the Skype cuts out. And Keeler Factory says, it's 2017, why don't we have better Skype?
Apparently internet in America is actually pretty bad.
Oh, we get great stuff here in New Zealand.
Well, we get alright.
Well, it's fine.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Pike, then Terry Darrington.
Oh, no, one last thing. Scanlan writes a book.
Oh, yes, he writes the story of Vox Machina.
He writes a story titled "In the Belly of Dragons: The Legend of Scanlan Shawhall in Vox Machina." Working title.
Cool.
I wrote it down.
I don't have that, so kudos.
Yeah,
then we get to Terry, who, yay, Dodie's been rebuilt. I think we did predict that.
Dodie 3.0.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure we said that on a previous episode. So
no, I think we predicted on the 1 year gap one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But then I'm guessing I think Dodie was still alive. Oh, actually, yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
Dodie 3.0.
Terry Darrington becomes a non-profit adventurers club, which is kind of cool.
So the Darrington name is still a bit tarnished, but they're basically on the recovery for it. And it was a fitting ending to Terry, especially when it comes to the sexuality controversy, you could say, that took place at the time. I think the Critical Role crew got a little bit of flack for how they treated Terry's sexuality, but Terry falls in love with Lawrence, which is his basic mentor and the one he kind of fell in love with ages ago, and he basically reconnects with Lawrence, and Lawrence joins the Adventure Club, and you'll assume they live happily ever after. Which
is a lovely story. Then we have Pike. Now this one, again, this is where I start crying again. Pike... she makes sure that her and Grog will still go on adventures, of course, that's fitting. Then she starts a life with Scanlan. I've got a couple of quotes here. Scanlan, she says, I know you, Scanlan, you want to be free, and I respect that. And he just says, I've never felt more free than when I'm with you. And she says, I think there's no one else I'd rather spend my days with. And I just bawl my eyes out. Twice, both times I watched that, I just had to hide beneath this and just be like, I'm fine, it's okay.
I told myself I wasn't crying.
It's fine. It's difficult not to on this episode.
I accidentally knocked that, but
it's fine.
No,
it looks fine.
But yeah, they start a family. Grog lives with them. It's a very hilarious kind of make-up of the family.
Scanlan actually lovelily asks Grog's permission and then asks if Grog will carry him down the aisle.
It's also worth noting that Wilhelm died.
Yeah, that's right. Pike's father.
That's why they had to ask Grog.
Well, he died of old age, so it was not too sad. It was natural course.
Yeah, it wasn't something tragic. It was something that naturally occurs. You can't avoid death.
Yeah, that's true. Raven Queen. Percy decides to build a clock tower, and he says that he'll never make another weapon, which is kind of beautiful.
And they start a beer festival.
Yeah.
I like the beer festival.
For Trinket.
I really hope that continues on. Like, they come years later and they're still having this beer. only you can prevent the rise of Vecna.
That was so good.
Do you know why that joke is funny?
Oh, the only you can prevent fires.
Yeah, because in America they have a big kind of anti-fire campaign.
Smokey
the beer. Yeah. Oh, good that you know that. You never lived in America.
No, I've never lived there. But I watch a lot of sitcoms.
There you go.
So that's beautiful. They decide to raise some children with Vex and stuff, and that's lovely.
Actually, I missed that, and I actually went back and tried to hear that. Did they actually raise children?
Well, they said that they will return to this place for 9-month stretches at a time. So that kind of hints.
So it's implied.
It's implied. It was not explicitly said.
Okay.
Correct.
That's where I got confused. So I saw heaps of fan art of kids, and I was just like, when did they mention it? Back
in classic Percy style.
Subtle.
Exactly.
But it's also worth noting, and this is when Cassandra comes back up. Vex trains Cassandra because Cassandra is a very, very kind of changed by this whole experience that had happened to her. That she now wants to become a protector. She wants to look after us. So basically, you could say inspired by what Percy's done, that she wants to be able to protect her family and her loved ones.
Yeah. So we're actually seeing like a really nice, thorough tying up of the effects and stories, which is great to see.
We'll move on to Grog.
Yep. Oh wait, Vex.
I just combined those two. So
Vex never stops trying to communicate with Vax.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the Raven population increases.
Yeah.
That's something noticeable. So you could say that was influenced by Vax.
Yeah. She says, Vex says that her notes simply said, make Whitestone the tits, which is just great. And then Grog. Yes, Grog. You can do this one.
Grog! So basically, he hands himself in for punching a guard. But then they kind of let him go because he's...
To be honest,
Grog.
like, when he said that, I did not remember the episode until Matt did the voice of the guy that he punched. I was like, oh yes, I remember that guy.
It was great. It was very it was a very kind of Grog wrap-up of how he acted. He's like, oh, so I'm not in trouble?
I'm free.
Oh, all right. He goes to the merchant who he destroyed the house... the shop and gives him gold.
8,000.
Yeah, and the merchant wasn't exactly like, oh, it's okay, you saved the place. He was just like, you ruined my shop. Give me money.
And all Grog wants to do is learn how to read.
It's also noted during that when we find out more about Grog's story, the Titans become a monument to what happened. So the Titan is now still there, still kind of a remembrance of everything that happened. Maybe like that, don't know. But also, there's like a house on there too. Oh, like Farah is still up there. Farah.
And the Titan had 4 arms. I missed that up until this episode. I did not know that.
So a 4-arm Titan is now situated outside of Vasselheim for you art makers, if you want to draw that.
Yeah.
So yes, Cedric, that was the merchant's name. I wrote it down.
Cedric.
And he learns to read.
Which is just
lovely. And he gets a little bit smarter over that time, which is really poignant. I like that.
Yeah. Then the last and possibly the saddest, Keyleth, returns to Zephyra, becomes the proper leader, the one that she was born and destined to be, they say.
Also keep in mind that she makes a point that she keeps going on adventures with her family, like the Vox Machina crew, every once in a while. So they're still in contact. It's not like they break apart and never see each other again. They're always seeing each other throughout the years.
And she takes a feather that was given to her, and she embeds it in the sun tree, and in fact grows a tree in monument to the Raven Queen. She says that it was a long time before she even thinks about dating again. And then
but does she ever?
We don't know. She speaks to her father, which was beautiful. And then Matt...
Corin, I think his name is.
Who as kind of counsels her a little bit. And then the episode ends with Matt describing the raven that visits that tree every day and visits Keyleth every day, the largest raven she's seen. And she kisses the raven. That's it. That's the wrap-up.
And the sunset, basically.
And the sun sets on this very long, beautiful journey that we were all lucky to be a part of.
And yeah,
that's it.
That's the end.
And I seriously thought the second time I watched that ending, I would be like, oh yeah, fine, I know what's happening. But no, I was
Yeah, it was very... I found it the perfect ending for me. I was... The only worry I had coming to this episode that it would be like, everyone lives happy ever after, but I think the history of what they did with that time, it wasn't too much, it was perfect amount, and I think the final scene, you could say, was a very, very poignant.
Yeah. And we're going to get more into that. We're going to do a wrap-up video where we just talk about what it means to us and what it means to...
So next week, even though this is the last episode of Vox Machina, of any new stories that are telling, we are going to keep on doing what we're doing here. So next week we'll be doing an overall wrap-up of the Vox Machina story. So NPCs are Tal'Dorei, that story. So if you have any particular moments you want us to talk about or include or anything like that, leave it in the comments below. We will bring it up and we will talk about it. And then the week after that, we're actually going to do a speculation video of the new campaign. So we're going to put in all the information we know, and then we'll put a video out there. And then we're going to do those 2 videos videos again once Vox Machina happen, where they're doing a wrap-up. They're going to reveal probably a lot of stories that they couldn't cover, or the NPCs they couldn't mention.
All the hidden info that we need.
Like, such as Gilmore. Didn't actually know what happened to Gilmore.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're going to be doing another video, and also we'll probably do it a week before the new campaign starts, which is actually in the new year.
Which, hey, that is something to look forward to in 2018.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
But we will still make content every week.
Yeah.
We're going to be covering the one-shots. We're going to be covering...
the first couple of episodes as well, because we're still continuing with that.
We made a rule that every one-shot that they do, we do a recap of a past episode. Seems like a good idea at the time, until we realised they're going to take a 3-month break and just do one-shots in between.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of content coming out on D20 Multiverse.
Yes.
We're obviously still going to cover the new campaign stories, everything that happens in between then. So just because Vox Machina's coming to an end, I don't think that D20 Multiverse is even slowing down.
No, we're going to keep going. And I think overall, from us two, thank you for watching. Last week, I think it was the most viewed episode we ever had.
It's like 1.5 thousand views, which was, really wonderful to have you guys out there supporting us.
And if you do want to encourage what we're doing, even if you only come for the NPCs, well, subscribe to our channel. It really means heaps to us when we wake up every day and see another sub. We go down and adjust the whiteboard, and it keeps us going with what we're doing. And really, we love talking about it, and it's awesome to actually have people that actually want to hear a couple of minutes of it.
Because like Critical Role was something that I discovered that really opened up a new chapter in my life. It really inspired me as creatively. It made me feel better as a person. It taught me a whole lot. And then we started this project called the D20 Multiverse.
We started in episode 93.
Yeah, so it was, and then it's grown. I love doing this. It's so much fun. It's so cool having you guys out there that watch our live streams or comment on our YouTube. It honestly means so much to us that we do really genuinely want to thank you guys.
And anything you guys write, anytime you share it, anytime you put a comment, we always read it.
100%.
And we want to get better at what we're doing. This has opened a new creative outlet and passion for us. We're going to keep on doing it, even if there's only one person watching. That's how we started this, and we're going to keep on going with it. So thank you.
And from NPCs to Tal'Dorei to Vox Machina.
We'll see you next week for the wrap up.
Love you. Yeah,
I love you.
I love them. I love you. I'm not scared to say it.
I am. To Vox Machina.
To Vox Machina! Yeah. I just,
let's do that again.
I just remember
all it has to do...
it threw me off because I'm...
Do we want to do like a cheer, or do like just To Vox Machina?
Let's go to Vox Machina.
Yeah, I think a more somber one.
You got,
It's a tiny bit of wine just so you have something to drink.
And
it feels weird to cheers without alcohol.
Well, it's weird. It's bad luck to toast with water, so I don't want to toast with water.
Okay.